Hello, and welcome to the Power of Your Mind podcast, where we dive deep into the world of manifestation, the law of attraction, and the unlimited potential of your mind. You are listening to episode number 287, Manifesting Through Belief. I'm Victoria Gallagher. And just as a quick reminder to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so that you never miss an episode. Now, if you're new to this show or new to me, let me just introduce myself. Again, I'm Victoria Gallagher. I'm a best-selling author of Practical Law of Attraction and the founder of HypnoCloud Apps, HipTalk.com, and be sure to check out my new Believe Hypnosis app, which is launching soon, or it may already be available by the time you're listening to this, depending on when you're listening to it. And this app, it promises to feature over 1,000 audios, including many, many new features. And it's going to give life-changing audios for people from all walks of life, all about law of attraction, manifestation, business success, and so much more. So the goal of this show is to inspire you to dream big and to live your best life. Every week, I talk about or have guests talk about how to use manifestation, law of attraction, affirmations, meditation, and hypnosis to create the life of your dreams. And today, I'm going to be delving into manifesting through belief, turning your conviction into your reality. But before we get into that, I just want to give you a free gift. Today, I have something truly, truly exciting to share with you, especially if you are interested in manifesting success in your life. What I'm talking about is the Believe Hypnosis 7-Day Manifest Success Journal, which you can download free of charge at believemanifest.com. It's that simple. It's a 7-day manifest success journal. And if you are looking to manifest real change in your life, you've got to check out this Believe Hypnosis 7-day manifest success challenge journal. And like I said, it's available free at believemanifest.com. This is a journal that has you focusing on a different aspect of manifesting every day for 7 days. There are journaling exercises that align your mind with success. So be sure to grab your copy today at believemanifest.com. And also, just to give you a quick heads up about the Believe app, I know I keep saying that it's around the corner, and I believe that it is every time I say it. It's just been out of my hands this whole time. And as of right now, actually, I'm going to be talking about this at the end a little bit more specifically. So I just kind of want to dive into today's journey, and then we will talk about what's happening with the app at the end. So let's just get right into today's episode, Manifesting Through Belief, Turning Conviction into Reality. So here we go. It's a really, really powerful talk today. And it's all about the incredible power of belief. Beliefs are not just these random thoughts that we have in our heads. Our beliefs are our blueprint by which we are manifesting our reality. And so I want to start off by sharing a story with you that really illustrates the whole power of belief. Some of you may have heard it before. Some of you may not. I think it's a pretty inspiring story. If you haven't heard it before, it's pretty inspiring. If you have heard it, then I just think it's something that's always worth repeating. And this is the story about Roger Bannister. Okay. Now, Roger Bannister was a runner. And before May 6th, 1954, There was a widely held belief that running a mile in under 4 minutes was totally impossible. No one could do it. Athletes and scientists all believed there was a barrier. And so Bannister, though, he got this belief in his own mind that he just refused to buy into that belief. And so he continued to train, and he had full faith in what he believed. And he was on that historic day of 1954, he did what everyone thought was impossible. He ran a mile in 3 minutes and 59.4 seconds. So he broke the 4-minute mile barrier, and he shattered that mythical belief and barrier forever. Now, what's interesting about that is that no one could do this up until that point in time. But what happened is after he had that record-breaking run, it wasn't too long after that, within a few years, a bunch of other runners were able to break the 4-minute barrier. So what changed? What was it that caused all of these people, when never before could anybody do this? It was simply a shift. It was a paradigm shift. It was a shift in belief. Once athletes started to see and believe that it was possible, that mental barrier was lifted, making the way for this to be possible for anyone to do it. And now it's like very common for people to, professional runners to be able to run in under a 4-minute mile. So this story just goes to show that our beliefs can either limit us or they can propel us to new heights of success. And so today I want to share with you how you can use this powerful principle of belief to manifest your own desires and your own dreams. So let's actually start with the science of belief. So there is actually a science to this, and this is really in a way, it is the science of the law of attraction, because ultimately, law of attraction centers around what you believe. So many people think that it's centering around what you think, but it actually centers around what you believe. So backing up a little bit, let's just give you a little bit of a quick science understanding of neuroplasticity. So neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to form new connections. The connections are like how we associate what we think with our actions. And so it is whenever we learn or experience something new, new connections are formed. So you don't have to constantly learn how to tie your shoes every day. You don't have to constantly learn how to drive every day. These connections get formed in your brain that allow you just to do it quickly. So it just allows you to be more efficient. So when you hold a belief, that's not just a fleeting thought, but a belief, that belief also becomes part of that neuroplasticity. It becomes part of the material part of your brain. And so through neuroplasticity, our persistent beliefs are physically altering the structure of our brain. And so every time we think a thought or hold a belief, our brain builds and strengthens these neural pathways. And these pathways are like roads. The more frequently a road is traveled, the more established it becomes. So the more frequently you take the same neural path in your brain, the more established that becomes, the more of a habit that becomes. And so those beliefs, those thoughts, the stronger and more ingrained those neural pathways become in our brain. And so the thoughts and the beliefs that get repeated over and over again, they're not just floating around somewhere like air in our brain. They literally create physical changes in our brain. So this has an influence on our behavior and our decision-making process. Once a pathway, a neural pathway, is strong enough, then it becomes the default path. Think of it again like akin to driving. You will just kind of do this on autopilot. You'll get in your car, you drive the same path every single day, you can just kind of do it on autopilot. But if you start to introduce a new way to go, it's going to require a little bit of thought, to turn that into more of a habit. So our long held beliefs and our repetitive thoughts, our repetitive behaviors are what shape our actions and our reactions without any conscious awareness, on autopilot. And these beliefs are ultimately what guide our thoughts, what guide how we interpret the world, which guide how we interact with the world. So that just kind of gives you a little bit of a premise on how the beliefs work in our brain. Now, let's get into law of attraction. The law of attraction, like we've already explored, our beliefs are shaping our brain. Law of attraction is centered around the power of belief. Law of attraction, the premise of law of attraction is based on a law that is called like attracts like. It is an actual law. And the law simply means that our thoughts, our feelings, and our thoughts, our feelings, and our beliefs attract similar outcomes, similar thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, and similar outcomes and experiences. So this is a concept that suggests that our current reality that we have right now is a reflection of what we've been thinking and what we've been believing. So the key to using the law of attraction in a positive way, because we're using it without realizing it all the time, okay? Because our beliefs are what is creating our outcome. So the key to using it to create the outcome that we want lies in being able to foster these positive beliefs. So when we genuinely believe that a positive outcome is happening or is possible, if we believe something's possible, just like when Roger Bannister believed that he could achieve that under 4-minute mile, then that basically means that you're going to go for it. You're going to set yourself up to achieve that. If there is doubt about that, you're going to be less likely to act toward it. And so when we genuinely believe in a positive outcome, we align ourselves with the positive energy and the possibilities. So this is not the same as positive thinking. So many people associate the law of attraction with positive thinking, and that's not what this is. Now, can positive thinking ultimately lead to positive believing? Yes, it can. But this is about creating positive beliefs. Positive thinking is at the surface level of your thinking. Positive believing it's cellular. It's literally cellular. It is literally a neural pathway in your brain. And so positive believing is the key. Your beliefs are what attract the experiences and opportunities into your life. And so in order to manifest your desires, you have to continuously hold a consistent, unwavering belief in your desired outcome, as if the belief is already yours. So you have to believe that it's already yours. This belief is what sets in motion all the events and everything that you attract, all the resources, everything that is needed in order for you to turn that vision into a reality. So, just as a practical example, many of you are entrepreneurs, and think about the entrepreneur who believes strongly in the success of their business. This belief is what strongly motivates them to work a little harder, a little longer, a little smarter. And it also is what attracts the opportunities, the resources, the networks that may have not been accessible if you were staying in a mindset of fear and doubt. So, coming back to the scientific perspective, while the law of attraction sounds mystical, and I do believe it is both mystical and scientific, it aligns with the principles that we discussed earlier about the neuroplasticity and the belief systems. By consistently holding positive beliefs, you rewire your brain to be more attuned to recognizing and seizing the opportunities that align with those beliefs. So it is all about aligning our inner world of our beliefs with our outer world of taking action on the opportunities that we now see in our outer world. Okay, so now we have pretty well established that all you need to do is believe and you can have whatever you want. Pretty cool, right? Pretty easy, right? So what's the catch? If all we need to do is believe, then why don't we have what we want? And the answer is very simple, because we don't believe. We don't believe. Maybe you believe at a surface level, but if you truly did believe already, you'd already have it. That you don't have it yet, there's always there's that doubt because you don't really believe. And why is it that you don't believe? What is it that gets in the way? Why don't we believe? Well, one of the biggest barriers to belief is quite obviously the opposite of belief, which is doubt. Okay, it's the self-doubt. And usually this is due to having low self-confidence or past experiences where we faced a failure, where we faced criticism, and overcoming self-doubt. Ultimately, it starts with you have to admit, you have to acknowledge that you do have some self-doubt. You have to acknowledge where you're at. You have to accept where you're at right now. And that is all about self-awareness. You have to recognize you have these internal dialogues going on in your mind, and you have to be able to hear them and catch them and challenge them. You have to be able to do that in order to rewire. How can you rewire if you can't even catch what is wiring and continuing to wire your brain to continue to attract what it is that you don't want? So you have to be able to recognize that I have these self-doubts. You have to listen for them. You have to turn up your radar and listen for them. And you have to be able to continually turn your I can'ts into I can and I will. And the next barrier to believing is fear. And that can be fear of success or fear of failure. Either way, it is the second biggest, if not the biggest reason for that lack of belief. Fear can paralyze us. Fear is what stops us from taking action. And so in order to overcome that fear, you need to focus on enjoying the journey. You have to enjoy the process. You've got to accept the fact that whatever the journey is on your way to manifesting, there are going to be ups and downs. It's like you are getting on a roller coaster, and you have to be able to, whichever part of the roller coaster you like, whether it's the going up, the going down, whichever the part you don't like, you've got to learn how to like that, and accept that, and take the ups and the downs as learning experiences. All right. So then the next part, and there's a lot of things that get in, but I'm only talking about 3. So there's the self-doubt, there's the fear, and then there's simply the limiting beliefs. Now, these are those beliefs that we weren't born with. We were not born with these limiting beliefs. We have picked these up somehow from society, from our family, from our past experiences. And these are the beliefs that say, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve it. And, success is just for the, whatever it is that you're saying to yourself, these, you may not even hear these beliefs. A lot of times they unconsciously undermine us and dictate the kind of actions that we take. And so you have to work on identifying and challenging and changing these limiting beliefs. So I want to go over a few practical steps that you can take in order to create some strong beliefs. Are you with me? Because ultimately, like I said, it comes down to believing. And we can use, of course, hypnosis as one of the most amazing tools in my toolbox. But I always like to give other tools and other things besides hypnosis to help reinforce everything throughout your day, to include in your morning routine, to include in your daily habits. So we have to create strong beliefs. And so the first habit that you want to get into is getting into the habit of saying positive affirmations. Now, affirmations are simply powerful, positive statements that as you repeat them regularly, they help you to reprogram your subconscious mind. And when you say these, whether you're in a waking state, or you say these in an alpha or theta state, either way, they go in to reprogram your subconscious mind. And so in order for affirmations, though, to be effective, there's a few rules that you need to adhere to. And one of the rules is they need to be present. They need to be about the now. They need to be not about what you're going to create in the future, but essentially who you are that is creating this. And that also, though, requires you can't lie to yourself. So you have to say affirmations that are believable. You have to say believable affirmations. And I got into believable affirmations, I think, in another podcast. And I actually have an acronym. We're not going to go into that whole acronym because it takes a little more explanation. But contact me, and I will send you some steps for creating believable affirmations. But all that to say, they need to be present, they need to be positive, and they also need to be specific. So for an example, you don't want to say affirmations like, I don't want to be poor. All right. So if you're trying to manifest money, stop talking about being poor. Don't say, I don't want to be poor. I'm tired of being poor. I'm sick of being broke. All these kinds of things. All that does is puts the idea and reaffirms the old idea. Instead, say, I am becoming financially abundant. I choose to be abundant. That's what I would like you to say. I choose to be abundant. And because recognizing that it is a choice, that is ultimately, it's a positive. You're choosing in the present moment. And it's, is that one specific? Put a specific dollar amount. If you are manifesting, I choose to manifest $10,000 a month. You could say something along that line. So those are just some examples of some affirmations that you could say. Now, how you do affirmations is equally important. You want to incorporate your affirmations in your daily routine. So make sure that you start a morning routine that where you say them every morning a certain number of times when you first wake up. Say them before you go to bed at night, before you go to sleep. You can even write them in your journal. Whenever you decide to do them is up to you. But the key is consistency. You definitely want to make sure that you make it a habit. Don't just do this for a few days. It's not going to work. It's not enough to get those neuroplasty connections going in your brain. You need to do this on a consistent basis. Now, I also recommend as another way, and you can use these together or you can use these separate, but I also recommend the power of visualization because visualization is so powerful. It is one of the quickest ways, in my opinion, to speak to the subconscious mind. It is the language the subconscious mind speaks. And so use visualization. It's really simple. All you need to do is just simply close your eyes and imagine achieving your goal, whatever it is. Just imagine yourself achieving your goal and use it. You just want to be very clear and very specific to yourself about what that goal is. Use all your senses. What do you see? How do you feel? What do you hear? And the more detailed your visualization, the better it's going to be. The key component to all of this, though, is emotion. That is what causes this to work. The emotions that you feel while visualizing, whether it's gratitude, whether it's joy, whether it's love, whether it's peace, that is what reinforces the belief that your goal is achievable. So this emotional connection is what brings your vision to life. So there are so many tools that you can use: mindfulness, hypnosis, meditation. But like I said, the key to making all of this work is the consistency, doing it over and over. Keep going down that same path until the brain changes. That's why you have to do this consistently. You have to make it a habit. When you consistently engage in these practices, you are building new habits of thought. And over time, these habits are what reshape your belief system, just like we talked about earlier with the neural pathways in your brain. So, and you also need to be patient with yourself because understand, the universe doesn't really think in time the same way that we do. And manifestation doesn't generally happen overnight. It's a process that unfolds in its own time. So patience is another big key to manifesting. You have to trust the process. You have to trust the process long enough for it to work. Because when results don't happen immediately, it's really easy to get discouraged. It's really easy to say, oh, I'm just not going to do this anymore. It didn't work. Well, how long do you need to do it? I mean, is it going to take 7 days? Is it going to take 30 days? Is it going to take 45, 90? Who cares how long it takes? If your goal is important to you, you will do it until you get what you want. And so you have to realize that you have to stay the course. You have to keep having faith in your vision, even when you don't see the immediate evidence of progress. Almost everyone faces some kind of challenges, some kind of setbacks along the way to manifesting. And so how you deal with these challenges is what sets the person who eventually does manifest apart from those who fail. Because the people who fail, they let the obstacles cause them to stop. So you have to remember that manifesting is about the journey. It's as much about the journey as it is about the destination. And so this is one of the reasons why it's so important for you to stay present and in the now and detached, as it is for you to stay focused on your desire. It's a balance. So as we get ready to wrap up today's episode, Manifesting Through Belief, I just want to give you a little reflective homework so that you can take this to the next level. Since you've been listening to today's episode, have you thought about any beliefs that might be holding you back? Specifically, are there any limiting beliefs that you might feel are holding you back? And how do you plan now to take this information into your life and transform your belief using the neuroplasticity in your brain in your everyday life? Are there any specific practices like the affirmations, like the visualization, like hypnosis that you plan to adopt on a consistent basis? Maybe just take some time right after today's episode and journal your thoughts. Don't just let this be another episode that you listen to without taking action. Take some action and write down in a journal for just a few minutes when you're done here. Even better, after you have done that, send me an email at orders@hiptalk.com and let me know what you got in touch with today and how you are going to use the tools that I've shared with you. So as we come to today's end of this Manifesting Through Belief episode, I just want to take a moment to thank you so much for tuning in week after week, for listening. And if you're new here, thank you so much. I hope you'll subscribe and I hope you'll share this with other people. And just remember, the journey of manifesting your dreams through belief is unique for each and every one of us. It requires patience, it requires consistency, it requires a willingness to confront and transform our own limiting beliefs. You just have to believe in the power of your own mind, trust the process of shaping your reality through positive, empowered thinking, and know that you have the capacity to create a life that is aligned with your deepest, deepest aspirations. So thank you once again for tuning in to the Power of Your Mind podcast. Remember that your beliefs are what shape your world. So choose them wisely. And until next time, keep believing. And once again, as we wrap up today's episode, I just have a really quick update to share with you on my Believe app. As some of you might know, Believe is a project that I am super passionate about. I've had my own challenges and stumbling blocks that I've had to keep believing. And just like any journey, I have had, my own doubts and fears and those kinds of things. And recently I had to make the tough decision to prematurely part ways with our previous development team. And we were in the midst of finalizing a few small fixes, but we've decided that it's best to move forward with my new team. It was a little bit difficult, but it was a positive step toward making this Believe app everything that we've envisioned it to be. And so this is just a temporary pause, but it's going to open the door to something so much better. I believe the app is still on track to launch soon. That's all I'm going to say about that. And I will keep you updated week by week until it launches. And I just want to tell you, your support, your anticipation means so much to me. I can't wait to share this final product with you. And before we go, if you found this episode helpful, please do subscribe, share this with anyone who could benefit. And I have many more new topics, new amazing guests coming to the show very soon. Until then, remember that the key to manifesting is within. Once again, be sure to grab your 7-day Manifest Success Challenge journal at believemanifest.com. Thanks again for tuning in to the Power of Your Mind podcast. Once again, I hope you found it informative. Please share this podcast with your friends, family. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and tune in next week for another inspiring episode. Until then, keep using the power of your mind to reach your goals and live your best life of abundance and joy.